This video, brought to you by the Ann Arbor Public Schools, will cover some details about the typical planning process for the AAPS Capital Program major projects as outlined in the Phase 2 Capital Plan Roadmap, which includes funding from both bond and sinking funds. We will also focus on a few outputs of this process specific to Thurston Elementary. The Ann Arbor Public Schools Capital Program objective is to transform the student learning experience with the goal of providing for the health, safety, and well-being of all students in high-quality, equitable, and environmentally sustainable schools. How we do that is by investing in 4 areas of focus: teaching and learning to continue the tradition of academic excellence, safety, health, and well-being to focus on development of the whole child, efficient and effective support systems and services to continue technology and transportation replacement and renewal, and sustainable and environmentally responsible infrastructure to create resilient schools for climate change. This is the framework for how we transform the student learning experience. You can find these areas described in our 2019 bond literature at a2schoolsbond.org. The planning process for each of the Ann Arbor Public Schools projects starts with roughly a year of discovery, followed by a year of design and documentation, and culminates after another 2 years with the opening of each new school. It takes 4 years on average to plan, design, and construct a new Ann Arbor Public Schools school building. This is considerably longer than is customary for elementary schools due to the extra time reserved for planning. Discovery reports, one of which we'll preview here, are how the planning process is cataloged. They are typically released for each project near the end of the planning process, but are often updated thereafter if additional feedback is received. What we'll be looking at today is a small sampling from Thurston Elementary's Discovery Report. This process is driven by licensed professionals who are experts in new school project planning in Michigan and beyond. You can find more information about this process at a2schoolsbond.org. It's important for the Ann Arbor Public Schools new buildings to support both district-level and building-level ambitions. District-level design principles are fairly high-level, including these 4 broad categories: collaboration, flexibility, empowerment, and integration. Each of the design patterns that surfaced in response to the needs of Thurston are filtered through the lens of these design principles. At the school level, planning starts by identifying any barriers to optimize teaching and learning that might be present in the existing school. These serve as a things to avoid category. School-level planning objectives also include conducting student workshops, mapping staff in both the existing and new school to be sure each staff person is accounted for in the correct type of space, identifying emerging guiding principles, identifying what success could look like, including listing desires, hopes, and worries, and identifying an emerging ethos. What you can see here is a snapshot of the guiding principles identified during Thurston's planning process. The district aspires to 21st century student-centered learning solutions that are housed in healthy, human-centric facilities, creating safe learning environments for our students and staff in high-performance designs that optimize operating carbon to the lowest responsible levels, while integrating low embodied carbon solutions and providing strong connections to nature and the outdoors. There are a few specific givens for each district project, including qualities for future-ready schools that include that they must contain abundant natural light and intentionally designed artificial lighting. They must be designed with excellent acoustics for speech intelligibility and privacy. They must be safe, secure, and inviting. They must include thoughtful storage for staff and students alike, and they must include a variety of flexible spaces to align with learner needs. To this list, we've added must-haves covering inclusivity and comfort. The planning process most often identifies that the space types typically found in today's schools remain as essential as ever, but that a reorganization of space could better suit instruction both today and in the future, and that there are some important high-quality space types which don't adequately meet the needs of the AAPS students, including, among others, optimized space for student collaboration, spaces for teacher collaboration, spaces for indirect instruction, spaces for support services, and adequate space for specials, including music, art, project lead the way, etc. There are several design patterns or ingredients that will be important to include in the new schools. One of them is learning suites, sometimes referred to as flexible learning environments. These are combinations of several types of spaces, typically in support of one grade level, including learning studios, also known as classrooms, learning commons, and small group rooms, among others. These spaces expand options for instruction, allowing for self-directed project-based learning and improved settings for direct instruction, as well as providing greater opportunities for collaboration. Because they are for a single grade level, they can be thought of as houses or communities. Another design pattern is a welcoming entry. School entries must remain warm and welcoming, be functional for movements during drop-off and pickup, and must be fully securable. These areas will now include secure vestibules, which permit school personnel to screen each visitor before allowing them into the building. Secure vestibules are paired with general offices to enhance security at the building's main entrance. Welcoming entries are a part of a package of strategies that allow the buildings to operate safely and securely while supporting after-hours events and daily school functions. Another is learning commons. Students today, working together on project-based tasks, are often gathered in groups of 3 to 5 using the corridor just outside the classroom, sitting on the floor. A learning commons, as one ingredient of a learning suite, provides a furnished, naturally lit space specifically for this function. These spaces are configured with resource storage and technology too, so they can also be used for direct instruction. Another design pattern is staff collaboration rooms, sometimes called educator workrooms. These support each learning suite, providing educators with a home base, a place to plan and collaborate with each other, a place to store personal effects, and a place to take a lunch break. Today, one teacher's lounge serves a whole building, often at a distance from classrooms, but these new buildings will have between 4 to 6 of these space types dispersed within classroom wings. These have been just a few examples of design patterns we've tracked through the planning process. There are many more. This has been a brief summary of the planning process for Thurston Elementary. Architects conducted several dozen separate engagements to define the parameters for the new Thurston building. For more information on the outcomes of this process and/or to hear about building siting considerations, click the link in the description or visit a2schoolsbond.org. Questions about this can also be posed by clicking the link in the description or by visiting a2schoolsbond.org. You can also use the QR code to sign up for regular emails. Thank you.